Patriot Prime Reviews is a channel for adult collectors and may not be suitable for children under 13 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised.
This video is sponsored by toyhax.com. They're your one-stop shop for reproduction decals for your vintage G1 Transformers and upgrade decals for your modern bots. Weaponry for your figures from the Toyhax Armory, and great looking backdrops for your display from Toy Stages. And now you can get 15% off of your purchase using my promo code PATRIOT at checkout. So yes, 15% off your order using my code PATRIOT. So check out toyhax.com and make your collection stand out from the rest. And tell them Patriot Prime sent you. Now, on to the video. The featured bot in this video is the brand new Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Skullgrin. This is a figure that I was so excited to get when they first announced him, because if you follow this channel any at all, you know that I am a huge fan of the Pretenders, and Skullgrin here was my favorite of the original basic line. And when he was announced, I was so excited to get a new modern update of Skullgrin. And man, I was just thrilled to death when he arrived on my doorstep today. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. We've got Transformers Legacy, some great looking artwork of Skullgrin in his tank mode. And then you've got Skullgrin himself behind the big open window so you can reach in and molest him if you want. Side of the packaging shows some awesome artwork of Skullgrin up close where you can really make out the skull. And there he is in full robot mode coming in for the attack. Back of the packaging, we've got Skullgrin in his robot mode and vehicle mode. And there you have the QR code that you can scan for his bio. So there that is right there if you want to pause it and take a look at it. This side of the box features the same artwork that we've seen since Wave 1. So now, without further ado, let's get Skullgrin opened up out of this packaging and check him out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and welcome to Patriot Prime Reviews. Now, once you get Skullgrin all opened up and out of the packaging, you'll see he does come with a sheet of instructions that, as usual, is very well illustrated and easy to follow. He also comes with these two gun swords that look really good. It is a white pliable plastic painted a gunmetal gray for the gun section. So you got the gun and the blade, a separate collar, which is nice, and lots of nice detail as well. And then, of course, we've got Skullgrin himself. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be a little harsh on this figure because, as I said, the original G1 Skullgrin was one of my all-time favorite Pretenders. And looking at this guy, I'm really not that impressed with the robot mode because he's not really representing the shell. If you take a look at Iguanus here and Bombburst, both core figures, their robot mode is very faithful to the Pretender shell. When you look at Skullgrin, he's got the robot body of the original G1 figure, and it looks like he just has a skull mask, belt, and shoulder pads on. He totally loses the organic look of the shell. So that aside, I have another issue with him. If you look up here on the horns, you probably notice right off, this horn is warped. These fold in for transformation, and unfortunately, this one pops right off. I mean, really easy. I actually squeezed this together as good as I could, or the best I could to get it to stay in place. It does not. The bottom section is warped. It just doesn't fit over the peg right there. So I actually have already issued started a refund, not a refund, a return. And Amazon's got another one on the way, so I'll send this one back. Hopefully it will be better. So those two complaints aside, Skullgrin does look pretty good. He's very intimidating. Fantastic head sculpt. That looks amazing. And I see that they went with the toy look right here once again opposed to how he looked in the comics or cartoon. In those, he kind of looked like he had a steer skull. This one's just the half skull. It's got the horns here on top and the tusks, and I've already messed something up here. He's got these horns on top that I was supposed to flip out. So there we go. Horns on top, horns on the side. He's got the tusks right there. The half jaw, you see the teeth. I mean, great sculpted detail. Wish the nose was painted black on the inside. I love the pink eyes, just like the original G1 right there. So this guy looks cool. Now, what's funny, the head is on a ball joint, but when you move it so far, it just snaps right into place like it's spring-loaded. And as you can see, the skull is very hollow. Other details, like I showed, it's very reminiscent of the original G1 Interbot. He does have these spiked shoulder pads, like the original Pretender shell, and they did a really good job with the belt here. We've got the spikes on the hips and the skull, just like the original G1. Of course, their skull is a lot less cartoony than the original. And he does have the knee spikes. I didn't even notice that earlier. So he's got some throwbacks, but I do feel like it could have been better. So now let's get into articulation. You already saw that the head can look up and down, left and right, but you have to lift the head up to give him a complete 360. He is going to hit these cannons on his back, but we'll go over that more later on. Those are movable. Arms can do a complete 360. There is an elbow bend. There is an elbow rotation. There is a wrist rotation when you pop the wrist right off, so be careful with that. Actually, there is no wrist rotation whatsoever. I'm going to leave that in. I don't have screw-ups in too often. Maybe just a quick edit here. Okay, once you have the fist installed again, he does have a waist rotation, but he is going to run into this backpack where he has a little tiny tail, just like the G1 figure, though it is up a little high on his back. The legs can go forward, they can go back, but man, mine has some really tight joints. They can go out, but slightly. You see right here, the hip skirt goes with it, but it's going to hit right inside. So there's not a lot of movement on the outward posability. There is a knee bend, there is a thigh rotation, and ankle tilt. So that's pretty much it for the articulation. Now, let's get into weaponry. This is where this guy shines. He's got the two gun swords that I showed earlier that you can put in his hands, just like so, and that wrist is popping right off. I didn't have it installed fully. Give me a second. Okay, wrist is reattached and both guns are in his hand, so you have that way of posing him. Or take the gun out, flip it around, use the handle on the back side. Now he's got a sword. Or take this out, undersling it here, and it's like what's that called? A tonfa, a bladed baton. You've got that going on. You can rotate it around the other way. There you go. Now, let's take these out of his hand for a second. And these cannons on his back, these can pop right off. Actually, this whole turret can pop off. And we'll leave it on there because that little section, there's really nothing you can do with it. So now, you can actually put these cannons in his hands and then attach the bladed cannons in the ports on his shoulders. So you've got that look going on, or attach them like this, or put the bladed cannons on his back, or attach the bladed cannons to the back cannons, creating these awesome looking double barrel guns. So yeah, you can do all kinds of things with the weaponry. And another plus is the big cannons are blast effect compatible. So there you go, Skullgrin, all armed and ready for battle. Now let's get into transformation. We're going to go ahead and remove the weapons. Now if you want, you can put the big cannons here on the back, but let's see, I will go ahead and do that for you. So those just peg in here. And there's ports. You can see ports there on the inside. There are ports all over this guy for the weaponry. We're going to get these attached. And now, first thing we're going to do is take the fists and fold those up and under the forearms. And then rotate the arms around to where this section here is facing toward the body, just like so. Go ahead and bend these down out of the way. Lift the head up and flip the chest down, if you get a hold of it. And now what you're going to do is kind of push through the chest and flip this up, and you're going to need to fold these horns in over the forehead. I'm going to be very careful with this one because I don't want it to pop off. You kind of tuck the head down, and you got to fold these horns back down as well. Now, these are a little tight. These are a soft, pliable plastic also. So get those folded in. Bring this up. Let's see, go ahead and take that off. Now you're going to bring the chest panel back down just like so. So you got that look going on. Now you're going to bring the arms in after you slide this section up, just like so. Bring the arms in. There are pegs right here that's going to slot into those slots right there on the arm. So get those pegged in, get the arms pegged together, squeeze tight so you make sure that's all flush, and that's pretty much the rear of the tank. Now what you're going to do is take the waist section and rotate down just like so, then bring the legs forward. So you've got that look going on. Now you got the treads here on the back of the legs. Bring these out and up just like this. Go ahead and fold the feet forward. There's a little tab right there that's going to slot into this section. And if you want, go ahead and clip the legs together. Try to get this as lined up as possible. And you're going to rotate these treads around like so, because the tread is going to plug into the rear of the tank. Now this part here is tricky. Took me a couple tries to figure it out, but you're just going to lay this plastic, the white plastic, over the thighs. Push hard, and you'll hear that snap into place. Do that here on the other side. Snaps right into place. And then you've got these tabs on the treads that's going to lock in right there and here. So go ahead and get those pegged in, those pegged in. And I forgot, take the legs and you're going to collapse these in Combiner War style, bringing everything closer. So you've got a rectangle. Now you're going to put your turret back on. Make sure your tail is folded up, and we are almost finished. You see it's got a big nasty gap right there. You're going to take the blades, or the gun swords, plug those into the first tread, and there you have Skullgrin in his Cybertronian tank mode. And this doesn't look bad. It's pretty faithful to the original Generation 1 toy. What I don't like is they didn't give him any wheels whatsoever. You just gotta push him along the ground there. So, I mean, lots of nice molded details, but it's just a collapsed robot with his toes pointed forward. The turret can do a complete 360, and of course the guns can raise up and down slightly. They can't go all the way up because they are going to hit right there. Now, of course, you could take the bladed weapons and attach those to the sword, or attach those to the turret however you like, but this is good enough for me. Now, we'll bring in the G1 figure for comparison. And as I said, let me bring these guys up. It's fairly close. You got the blades on the side, legs loose. You got the blades on the side, you got the purple turret up top. The collars match really well, except for the white and gray there for the gun blades, but it doesn't look too bad. Though, in this instance, I think the G1 makes a better Cybertronian tank than the new Legacy version. But, as I said, Skullgrin was one of my favorites, and I'm going to be a little harsh on this guy. And now for some quick size comparisons, here is Transformers Legacy Skullgrin with Generation 1 Megatron, Generation 1 Skullgrin, Titans Return Skullgrin, and Legacy Core Class Iguanus and Bombburst. Man, I had such high expectations for Transformers Legacy Skullgrin, but this figure just fell short for me. I feel like the robot mode doesn't embrace the G1 Pretender shell that Core Class Iguanus and Bombburst did. Like I said, it looks like the inner robot is wearing a skull mask, shoulder pads, and a belt. I really wish they gave more love to the Pretender shell, which is what Skullgrin's known for. Now granted, what they did do looks really good. I love the skull, I love the belt, but still, he's just too inner robot looking. And the vehicle mode, man, all that is a rectangle with a turret on top. I wish they had given him wheels to make it more vehicle-like. I just feel like the G1 figure did the vehicle mode so much better. So there you go, guys. Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Skullgrin. So, does a Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Skullgrin belong in your collection? Well, I'm torn on this one. Being a huge Pretenders fan, this figure is kind of a letdown for me because he doesn't really embrace the outer shell that both Core Class Bombburst and Iguanus did. As I said, it just looks like the bot is wearing a mask and a belt. If you're not a big Pretenders fan, you may really like this guy. He is a very unique looking Transformer. I just can't get over that head sculpt right there. And all of the playability and options with the weapons are really, really cool. Hopefully you guys won't get one that has a horn that keeps popping off. Nothing worse than a half horny Skullgrin. So hopefully my Amazon replacement will fix that issue. So if you are interested in Skullgrin, he is a decent figure, but if you're a huge Pretender fan like I am, you may not like him that much either. Now guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos. Also, if you're in any position to help out the channel, I have a super thanks button, and I also offer channel memberships. And I have to give a huge shout out to all my current channel members because it's support like yours that helps keep this channel going. Once again, guys, this is Patriot Prime, signing out. Ha!